Hi, my name is Jeff Joyner, and in this video I'm going to tell you the story of the greatest shot of all time and what I learned from it. Now, you might think the greatest shot of all time happened when Michael Jordan hit the shot against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. That was clutch, but not the greatest of all time. Or maybe when Alex Ovechkin hit his amazing goal against the Coyotes. Unbelievable, still not the best. Or maybe it was when Justin Leonard hit that 41-foot putt to guarantee that the U.S. won the Ryder Cup. Again, amazing. But the greatest shot of all time actually took place at my high school in 1987. My friends and I were about a week away from graduating from high school. And during that whole spring, we had gotten in kind of a bad habit of starting food fights at lunchtime in the cafeteria. Now, we'd gotten caught a couple times, we'd gotten in trouble, we had been chastised. In fact, the principal of our school told us that if we got caught one more time participating in a food fight, that we were not going to be allowed to march with our class for graduation. Well, that's a pretty serious threat. That did not stop us from doing what we did, it just meant we were a lot more careful. So one day we're in the cafeteria and we found that they were serving for school lunch the perfect food for shooting at people across the cafeteria. It was sliced peaches. You know, the kind that come in heavy syrup. And what we found is that if you took that little canoe shape of the peach and you cut it into thirds, that middle piece was perfect for putting on a spoon, on a plastic spoon, and boom, you could flick it and it would go 10, 20, 30 feet and would hit someone in the face. And the reaction of when people get hit in the face with a slimy peach, it's a beautiful thing. In fact, to demonstrate, I recreated this in my backyard today with my son Logan, my daughter Natalie, and her boyfriend Joey. Here's what it looks like. So as you can see, nobody wants to get shot with a peach. So we were having a good time, and we would sit at our table there, and you'd kind of be looking out for the teachers, because there were teachers on lunch duty that were watching for us, and they had their eyes peeled, and so you had to wait till just the right moment. We had lookouts, and you get someone in the face with a peach. We were having a great time. That's when one of my friends issued a challenge. Someone said, "Hey Jeff, I bet you can't hit Katie Posey." Now, you don't know who Katie Posey is, but Katie Posey was a girl, a junior at our school at the time, who was on the far end of the cafeteria. Now, what you have to know about our cafeteria is our janky cafeteria actually doubled as our school gymnasium. So the same place where we ate lunch is where we'd have basketball practice and basketball games in the afternoons and evenings. And so we were sitting right underneath one of the baskets. And there were some other tables. And on the far end of the basketball court, sitting under the other basket, was a table. And the junior class was having a bake sale. They were doing a fundraiser. And there was no one on that entire half of the court except for Katie Posey, and she was talking to one of her friends, Lynette Vickers. Two people 94 feet away, and someone says, "I bet you can't hit her." Well, you know what? I probably can't. That's a pretty far shot. It's pretty much impossible. And then someone said, "Hey, I'll give you $5 if you can hit Katie Posey." In 1987, $5 was a lot of money. And then someone else said, "I'll chip in 5." And someone else said, "I'll chip in 2." And someone else said, "I'll chip in 10." And pretty soon, it was $40. Well, at $40, they've really taken my decision out of the whole process, because I now have to take the shot. But a full court peach shot to try to hit a person standing there? Almost impossible. But I decided to give it a try. So we're looking to make sure none of the teachers are watching. I was trying to think of my strategy. Now, obviously, a plastic spoon is not going to shoot a peach or else it's going to crack like that one just did. It's not going to shoot a peach 90 feet. So I knew I was going to have to get some physics involved. It was going to have to combine the flicking of the spoon as well as the motion of my arm. It's going to have to be half arm, half flick. Going to have just the right angle. Looking at, I think, what I learned in science class, about 45 degrees is the ideal angle that I'm looking to hit if I'm going to try to hit somebody at distance. So we looked around. Nobody was coming. And poor Katie Posey, by the way. I got to tell you, Katie Posey was the nicest, sweetest, shyest, most wonderful girl in our school. She had no enemies. She's a wonderful person. She did not deserve anything that was about to happen to her. I don't know why fate conspired to have Katie Posey standing down there that day. But poor Katie Posey. I'm so sorry. Katie Posey, if you ever see this, I'm so sorry. But I digress. So, probably see where this story is going. You think you can. We're waiting. The lookouts see that the coast is clear. I decided to take my shot. By now, by the way, about 40 guys all sitting around are watching our shenanigans as we're blasting people in the face with peaches. Everybody thinks it's funny until you get a peach in the head yourself. It's all fun and games till you get a peach in the face. So everyone's watching. Everyone knows that the challenge has been laid down. The gauntlet has been thrown. That I'm now going to have to take a shot and try to hit Katie Posey with a peach. So I launch it. Well, as anybody knows who's ever done any like dude perfect type trick shots, as soon as you shoot it, you know, does it have a chance or does it not have a chance? You're either like, shanked it, try another one. Or you know early on, it's got a chance. Well, sure enough, that peach takes off at what looks like the perfect angle, at what looks like a perfect distance. 94 feet away. Poor Katie Posey is standing there having a conversation, minding her own business. There's no one else around for like 50 feet. And she's just standing there talking. And as I shoot it, all of us, about 40 immature, adolescent teenage boys all start going, oh, 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 oh. And that peach, it's going, it hits an arc, it starts coming down. We're like, oh, oh, oh. And that peach, Katie's standing there talking, and the peach goes, whoop. It goes right in her mouth. Instantly, all of us are like, everyone piles on me. Everyone's high-fiving. Everyone's screaming. We're laughing our heads off. It's the most unbelievable thing. Everyone was just a witness to history. But poor Katie Posey, right? She's standing there. Imagine, you're standing there minding your own business, and suddenly your mouth is violently full of some slimy, mushy, horrible thing, right? I mean, peaches and heavy syrup, right? They're slimy even in the best of circumstances, right? When they go into your mouth with your consent, they're still slimy. But imagine, like, boom, a surprise filling up your mouth. You have no idea where it came from. The only other person around you looking right at them, they didn't do it. And so poor Katie runs out of the cafeteria, runs to the bathroom. We are laughing, we are howling, we are screaming. I've always pictured in my mind like that poor girl runs in the bathroom and like spits it out and like, well, that doesn't solve any riddles. How did that get in my mouth? Oh, so now here's the thing. I now had legendary status because I was able to make that shot. But I was embarrassed. I felt bad. I felt guilty. But since there was only 1 week left in school, I took the coward's way out, and instead of apologizing like a decent human being, I just talked to Katie Posey for the whole next week, and we went through graduation, and I left town, and I've always wondered, did she know it was me that did it? She must have heard. Everybody was talking about it. Was she upset? Did it mess her up? I don't know. I don't know. Did she come back the next year for her senior year and everyone called her Peaches? I don't know. But I'm telling you, it was an amazing shot. Now, I'll give you some more details about a follow-up to the story, but here's the moral of the story. You gotta be willing to take the shot. All through my life, I've seen so many people that have an opportunity to take a shot. Usually not something stupid like a peach on a spoon. It's usually a job interview. It's asking somebody out that you've always wanted to date. It's telling somebody about your feelings. It's chasing that new career. It's going up on stage and singing or playing an instrument when you never have. But you have a shot and you chicken out. I've seen it over and over and over again. People chicken out asking that girl out. They chicken out telling someone how they really feel. They chicken out riding that roller coaster. And they always, always regret it. So my challenge to you is when you have the opportunity, take the shot. You know, if I would have missed Katie Posey that day by 40 feet, you know what? Nobody'd be talking today about the story of Katie Posey and the peach. But I did take the shot. And I did make it. And people still talk about it in my high school. I have witnesses that are still alive who've witnessed the epic shot of Katie Posey and the peach. Now, here's the follow-up to the story. The story gets crazier, right? It's over 30 years ago. And you fast forward about 20 years later, I never knew what happened to Katie Posey. I never really thought much about it. I was just wallowing in my shame for what I did to this poor high school girl. Well, the day came that I got on Facebook, like most of you probably have, and started reconnecting with old high school friends. Hey, this is cool. And hey, Kirk Walker, how you doing, bro? And hey, Jeff Walraven, that's awesome. And reconnecting with all my old high school friends. And one day I look and there's a notification, friend request. Katie Posey. Oh no, oh no. What do? Right? I'm the culprit. I'm the guy who hit her in the mouth with a peach. I violated her with a peach. So I didn't know, should I accept it? Should I ignore it? Well, ignoring it's rude, right? Two wrongs don't make a right. So I accepted her friend request. And I waited for the inevitable 20 years in coming smackdown for what I did to her in high school. I waited for it and I deserved it. And it never came. So I thought about maybe asking her, hey, do you remember that? But then I thought, hey, maybe she never knew it was me. Maybe she forgot about it. Why should I be bringing this up? So I didn't say anything and she didn't say anything. And I thought that was going to be it. Then one day I was speaking at a conference in Delaware and I drove back to my hotel and called my wife. And she was new to Facebook too and didn't really know the rules of Facebook yet. And she said, hey, Jeff, I sent a message to one of your Facebook friends. I said, really? Who? She said, Katie Posey. I said, what? Why would you send a message to Katie Posey? She goes, well, I've heard you tell that story about Katie Posey and the peach, and I wondered if it was true. I said, of course it's true. Everybody saw it. All my friends from high school were there to witness it. What are you talking about? What did you say? Kathy, what did you say? She said, I sent Katie a message and said, hi, I'm Jeff Joyner's wife, and he always tells this story about shooting a peach all the way across the cafeteria and how it went right in your mouth. And I want to know, is it true, or did Jeff make that up? Now, I'm a little offended. Like, who would make up a crazy story like that? I'm not going to be making up a story about peach. But I was mortified. I couldn't believe. I said, Kathy, I've never talked to Katie since that day. What? How dare you? Why would you do that? I said, Katie might have been in therapy ever since then about that. I don't know. Katie might have dropped out of school for all I know after the whole peach incident. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. That's so horribly inappropriate. And then Katie answered her. And it was the most gracious, polite, self-deprecating, humorous response of all time. She answered back and said, yep, it's a true story. He did hit me from right in the mouth, from all the way across the cafeteria. She said, I never found out what it was. She goes, to this day, I thought it was a grape. It was just wet and slimy and gross. But yes, it did happen. Jeff is telling the truth. Oh, well, at least she's not mad about it. So then, of course, I sent her a message, and finally, after 2 decades, got the opportunity to apologize for what I did to this poor girl. I wasn't trying to hit her in the mouth. I mean, I'm glad it went in her mouth. You know, my real regret is that I didn't call that shot, right? Can you imagine if I, hey, I'm going to hit Katie in the mouth. Ooh, that would have been like Guinness Book of World Records type thing. But I did apologize. I really did. And she's gone on. She's married now, has a beautiful family. She's a wonderful person. She was very gracious. I'm very appreciative. But I'm telling you, I always think of that story when I see people that are afraid to take their shot, right? You got to be like Hamilton, right? Got to take that shot. And so if you have the opportunity, whether it's just to do something a little bit silly or to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone, to do something that might embarrass you, something you might miss, take the shot, right? Speaking of Michael Jordan, he famously said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Now, I don't know if that's mathematically accurate, because if you have to take a shot for it to count as a miss or a make, and so if you don't take it, it's not really, you can't miss 100% of zero. But I'm not a mathematician. The point is, you're never going to do anything extraordinary if you don't have the courage to try. So many of my friends are afraid to fail. They're afraid to look silly. They're afraid to try. And if you're just willing to go out there and try and take the shot, that's a big part of having an epic life.